Yeah! Yeah! In the warehouse gym, we break the mold. We lift iron weights like they're made of gold. Nick and Will on the podcast vibe, talking about routines, yeah, feeling so alive. Sweat drips down as the baseline hits. Warehouse echo with the power of grit. Guys, Knigth podcast with the knowledge to share. Training tips, yeah, we're taking it there. Warehouse hustle, lifting higher. Iron clashing with hearts of fire. Nick and Will, they got the plan. Training like we Superman.
The intro.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to Warehouse Workouts on Guys Night. Tonight, you're going to learn two things. You're going to learn how to widen your back and how to grow a stash.
That's right.
We got Trenton here with us tonight, and obviously Nick, welcome back, obviously, as always. And tonight, we're going to go over 3 tips on how to widen your back, right, Nick?
Yeah. We're going to go over elbows and angles. We're going to go over full range of motion, and then posture. Those are going to be the 3 things. So, yeah, we'll definitely get into it. But I got to ask you too about the stash. Do you use any like product or anything on that? Like, how do you get it to look as phenomenal as it does?
I mean, I have some oils and stuff if it gets super, super dry. But like when I wake up in the morning, it'll be like looking like a spider web or whatnot. It's crazy. It's the best time ever.
Yeah.
You know, like white man fro, but on my face.
Yeah.
And no, I just splash some water on it and do one of these, and it curls right
just
up.
Trained right like that, man. I have a hard time with that. Mine's more like an Earnhardt stash when I grow it.
Yeah,
so that's
probably
right.
the most question I always get. Like, what do you use in that?
Yeah, I had to ask you. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. We're gonna grow a big back. I try to come up with 3 easy tips that you can apply to any of your back workouts. They're not meant to be super confusing or anything like that. Just very simple, easy tips to grow a big back.
Awesome. And we're going to get into that. But before we do that, Trenton, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, what you do for a living, and how long you've been working out?
Yeah. So I'm Trent Cooper, born and raised in Ashland, moved up to the Medina area about 7 years ago. We now live in Valley City area. Own a roofing company, own a couple other companies as well. Matthew Motors here in Medina. My business partner, Matt. Shout out to him. Working out back in the 20s, I worked out like crazy, was in football. Got away from it, kind of got money hungry and started going after, you know what I mean, chasing the dollar.
I'll do that. 2
years ago, I had a TIA, it's kind of like a mini stroke. So just kind of like didn't do anything after that.
Wow.
And Craig, I've known Craig Milletti forever, and I've been telling him for years to get a gym up this way. And when I found out he was getting one up here, I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to go get a membership. You know what I mean? Get back in it. Linked up with one of the guys here, Aaron Hilson. He's a coach nutritionist guy.
Yeah.
And just
he's got a big back.
Yeah. Trying to get me on the right, you know what I mean? Food, diet, mindset, just getting healthy. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, we're glad to have you here tonight. And obviously, when it comes to the back, for me, that's something I've always had struggle with, is getting that wider back. So I'm interested to hear kind of what we're going to approach on tonight. You know, is there specific exercises? I know we're going to talk about kind of some form and some things that you can do with those exercises, but is there specific exercises that help that more than others?
Yeah. So there's 2 ways you can grow your back, right? There's thickness, as in like, you know, how thick you are from chest to back, right? And then which is going to be most of your mid back, your erectors, your scapula, all through the back. And then there's your lats, which are the wings that come out to make you wide from shoulder to shoulder. And so those exercises that you choose will determine which part of the back that you work. Usually there's 3 planes. You do some exercise where you're pulling down, exercise where you're pulling straight, and exercise where you're pulling up. That'll hit all angles of the back. We could go over a couple of my favorite back exercises, maybe one for each plane. But yeah, so but the principles that I have, you can apply to any of the back exercises that you're doing. If you're looking specifically to grow your lats, obviously you'll do more lat targeted exercises. If you're doing want to get thickness, like a real thick back, then you'll do more, you know, rhombus and scapula and mid back focus exercises. So
yeah, absolutely. And then obviously with the kind of work that you do for a living, you're putting a lot of stress on that back on a constant basis, right? So exercising that back for really anybody. I mean, we talked about it last week with deadlifts, but great way to prevent injuries, especially as you get older. If you're in a position where you're a carpenter, you're working on roofs, things like that, where you're hunched over, bent over uncomfortably for a long period of time. Any of those types of things, having that strong back is really going to kind of help lead you to less injuries down the road, I presume, right?
Yeah, and the back is one of the biggest muscle groups. Like you have your legs, which is number one, and back is right behind it. So, you know, it essentially streams from your butt all the way to your shoulders. So that's a large muscle. It encompasses a lot of things, and it's one that I feel like a lot of people have problems with. They have a lot of back injuries. You always hear people complain about back pain. You know, a lot of times stems from poor training technique and overloading. So
awesome. And hey, guys, those of you guys that are listening, please like, share. Tonight we went live on Nick's Instagram so that you guys can check that out. Obviously, YouTube, Facebook. Please like, share, subscribe. What are your Instagram handles or pages that people can look you up as?
Social media.
So Instagram, it's The Risen Anchor. And then I'll give Matt's shout out. It's Matthew Motors. You'll see me share Matthew Motors quite a bit.
Yeah, you guys are doing a lift kit giveaway right now,
we're
right?
Doing a lift kit giveaway.
When's the giveaway on that?
That we're ending that giveaway next Thursday will be the last day.
So right towards the end of the month.
And then we're going to reveal the winner on Friday.
Cool.
And then on that same Friday after we release who won that, we're going to release what the next giveaway is, which is going to be pretty sweet. So
with the lift kit giveaway, is it for any vehicle that you guys are going to do this for? Anybody that wins, whatever their vehicle is?
Yeah, originally
Ford Taurus.
Originally we were going to do like just a 6-inch lift. And then we're like, you know what, let's just keep this like versatile, right? Like if you want to lift, whether it's maybe you don't want a 6-inch, maybe you just want a level lift and throw some 33s on there and it look real nice with some fuel rims on there, like we can do that. Or if you want to jack it up, Matt's truck right now is sitting at an 8-inch lift on American Forces, and I mean it's clean. So everybody has their style. Like mine's a 4-inch lift. I have 35s. That's just my cup of tea.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's funny because my Tundra has a 6-inch lift. My last truck, a 6-inch lift. My new truck, not going to lift it. I'm tired of getting in and out of it. I'm tired of tires. I'm tired of all the maintenance comes away. That's pretty cool. You guys are giving it away. What does somebody have to do in order to win that?
Yep. So all you got to do is go over to MatthewMotors.com. Once you get on there, you'll see all of our apparel, everything from Matthew Motors gear, all the way up to we can sell you fuel apparel, American Force apparel, you name it, Yeti stuff is all on our website. Once you click on that, say something's $25, you get 25 entries into that giveaway.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so awesome.
And these tips will come in handy for when you get your lift because you got to pick stuff up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
That truck. Yeah. You got to have good back strength. For
those tires are a little bit
heavier. That's what I'm saying. That's why I lift
speed on there. They start getting heavy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, let's get into this. We're in the back room here at the warehouse. Once again, special thanks to Craig and the warehouse team for letting us do this every week. But if you haven't been to the back room here, it's awesome, especially if you want to lift and you want to get angry, you want to be by yourself. There's not usually a lot of people back here, and you can literally go through an entire workout back here. So
yeah, this room is really cool. It's got a bunch of powerlifting-esque machines or equipment, I should say. We have a couple deadlift platforms, a few power racks. They have a really neat Smith machine that's guided Smith machine, so it goes both back and forth and up and down instead of your normal fixed Smith machine. And then
that's probably my favorite machine at this gym.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Lunges, whatever it is, it's just super easy.
A little bit more stability than using a free bar. And actually, this machine, this red one here in the back, I know the camera can't really see it, but it's that we actually got that from the Cleveland Browns facility.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it was it's a hyper extension machine, and you can do all kinds of really cool stuff on that. I had my wife on it the other day doing hamstring curls and some glute stuff on it. So yeah, a bunch of cool stuff, belt squat, all kinds of neat stuff back in this room. So come check it out.
Yeah. And speaking of big backs, Brandon Nagy has got a big back, right? And it's funny because apparently when you have a really big back, you start walking around like this.
No, it's just how he walks.
Yeah. But he can use that Smith machine with some straps versus a regular bar, and it kind of gives you a little bit of leverage to still go heavy and not have to worry about holding that bar when you can't get your arms back there because you don't stretch, Brandon Nagy.
Yeah. He's got that invisible lat syndrome.
Yeah. All right.
That's a braid. Like
what are we going to get onto first? We got a couple of things back here.
So we can really, all the principles I have you can use on any exercise, but we have a beautiful seated row. So right behind us, it's actually actually one of my favorite machines in the whole gym. It's a Nautilus cedar row back here. So we can start with that, and I can demonstrate some of the techniques, and then we can apply them to a few of the exercises back here.
All right, sounds good. And for you guys that are watching, if you got questions, make sure you put them in the comments. We'll try and get to them. We're going to be moving around for a little bit before we end the show. We always go back and go through them. So, one other thing. Not only do you have a stash, but we had Henry notice some awesome mullets going on here.
Oh, yeah. That's
You
right.
know, my wife's a barber and she's trying to get better at the what do they call it? The burst fade.
Yeah.
So now I am stuck with kind of going through this whole thing. Oh,
Mullet in training.
you know,
No time.
dude, I tell you what, man, for being a high and tight guy my whole life, it's freaking me out. The fact that I can see how long the hair on the back of my head is.
Wait till it starts touching your shoulder.
Oh,
You're like, oh,
You
man.
gotta get the M squared, the mustache mullet gang.
yeah, for sure. Dude, I went to a bachelor party in August, and everybody, there was 20 guys there. We all had mustaches and mullets, all of us. Dude,
Oh,
it was
my God. Oh, you told me that
fucking
story.
great,
That's
dude.
hilarious.
It was absolutely great.
All
Yeah.
right, let's get over this row machine and make it happen.
Do it. All right. So we're just going to start with, there's just a plate on here. It's usually pretty light. It should work out for you.
One of these.
Yeah, there's already just one on there. So we'll start with that. Now, while we do this, first thing we're going to talk about is elbows and angles. Okay. So where your elbows go is where your the angle at which you pull your elbows is going to dictate what part of the flat or back you use. So if your elbows are cocked in, you're going to use, there's going to be more lat focused. If your elbows are out, you're going to be more mid back and scapula focused. Okay. So go ahead and let's just do the first set and think about that. So elbows in and out, and then I want to do maybe 5 out and 5 in, right? And then pull from your elbows, not your wrists. So I talked about that before. If you engage with the elbows, you'll contract your back. If you pull with your wrists, you're going to use more biceps. So we'll do 5 with elbows up and back, and that'll get mid back, and then 5 elbows in, that'll get your lats. So go ahead and try that. Yeah, we'll just do 5 and 5, just so you can feel the difference. So elbows up and out, and pull, good. You should be able to feel it through here, through your mid back. Good. Yep. And then do 5 in. Elbows down. Now you should feel it more in the low lat. So just by changing that degree at which your elbow is, will engage a different muscle. That's super important when you're training, understanding what muscle you are intending to work. So if you have your elbows cocked in for every single exercise you do, you're going to have a lot of really wide lat development, but you'll have no mid back, no thickness. So we need to make sure we train both. So yeah. Next thing we're going to talk about is posture. So when we sit down, you actually did a pretty good job of this. We don't want to be, what I see a lot of guys do is they'll hunch way over and they pull and they're hunched over. That's going to engage a lot of bicep, a lot of front delt. We don't want that. You don't have to over exaggerate the arch, but have a nice arch in your back, kind of stretch with it, come in, squeeze, stretch, squeeze, right? Posture. And then the last one is exaggerated range of motion. So on some exercises, you don't want to do this on all of them, but on some exercises, we definitely want to have an extended range of motion. So I like to do it a lot of times. I'll show you on these with like a single arm. So again, good posture up, but I might want a really far range of motion. So I'm going to come down all the way, stretch that out, squeeze, exaggerated, far back as I can get that back.
Now, when we've talked
Down.
about doing pause rep and stuff like that between, what part of this do you really want to pause? And then what part of this do you really want to focus on that extension is when you're dropping it down?
So like the pause is going to be always at the apex of the rep. So the top of the rep. So if you're going to do a pause, you're going to come up and you're going to hold it at the contraction. And you're not just holding it here for the sake of holding it. You want to squeeze that muscle really hard. So a lot of times, especially on a single arm row, I might come in and squeeze, and like when I get to that contraction, punch down on that lat really to get extra squeeze on it, So, and I'll even touch it to make sure I'm engaging. So I have my left arm here on my lat. I'm coming down. I'm squeezed. I can feel that flex. Just like as if I'm flexing my bicep, I'm flexing my lat when I'm coming in. So nice stretch here, stretches that muscle out, and then squeeze.
Awesome.
So posture, big chest, proud chest, not too crazy, not over exaggerated, not slouched over, nice posture, all the way down, full range of motion, squeeze. And on these, with the single arms, we'll try that one for this next one. You want to rotate in when you squeeze and crunch that side. So stretch at the top, come in, crunch, drive that elbow way back.
Yeah, guys, and that's one
Got a
thing we
shot.
talk about. All these different machines that are out here too, is they're all built to do different things. This one's nice because it does have that rotating handle so that you can do things like this.
Yep. So go ahead, push your legs a little bit straighter so you get a little bit deeper stretch. Big stretch there, right here. Come back, drive, squeeze. Yep. Kind of hammer that lat on the side. There you go. 4. Now this one is a lat focused movement as opposed to our overhand, which would be a scap mid back focus. Let's get like 8 or 10 of these just to get a good feel. We could do a failure set if we want to.
What's that?
We could always get a couple failure sets.
Oh
in
yeah,
here.
might as well put
Smoke them up a little bit.
in. Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Oh, you know, I always like adding a few failure techniques in here.
Just like to burn people out.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. It's fun. You gotta get used to training hard. I love it. But intent is important. So it doesn't matter how hard you train if your intent isn't there and you're not training with proper form, because at that point you might grow, but your risk, you're leveraging injury risk and a bunch of other complications that you could get from overtraining if you're just training reckless. So we don't want to do that.
You definitely can feel it isolated.
You feel a little bit more isolation there? Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do, we'll do, so these are going to focus more on the lat.
Here it comes.
So,
You're in the camera. I don't know if you're.
oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So these are going to focus more on your lats. So let's do, how was that weight? Was that pretty light? Yeah. All right. Let's try another plate. These are, I like to do what I call feeler sets when I'm training. You could do, I do this for all muscle
What are they
groups.
called?
Like a feeler set.
Yeah. Oh, just to see kind of where you're
Yeah,
at
just to see
strength-wise.
where we're at strength wise. So we're gonna do a targeted rep range for 15 here.
Okay.
And so let's do some the same technique that you had: underhand pull, squeeze. Do like 5 and 5 on each side. Tell me if you think you can get 15 with that weight.
There we go.
Ready? Drive, squeeze, stretch. 2, 3, 4, 5. How'd that feel? 15 for sure? Yeah. You think we could go up and still get 15? Or you think you're pushing at 15?
I was just say I'd be interested to see what 15
Okay.
feels like. Now you hear a lot of people. Once again, we've talked about this before. When building that bigger back, obviously we get a lot of strength from heavier weight, lower reps. But in this scenario, more blood, more reps, going to help build the size.
Yeah, hypertrophy training. There's a lot of studies out there that talk about hypertrophy training where the body doesn't really know the difference between failure at 10 or failure at 20 reps, failure at 5 reps, failure at 15 reps. Failure is failure. So the goal is to get the failure. So we're going to target for 15 here, right? If we get to 15 and we can do more, we're going to go to 20. We'll go to 25. It doesn't matter. But the feeler set is designed so we can try to get to that rep range. Eventually, it's harder to get to that complete failure if you're on either end of the spectrum.
Sure.
So if you're doing too many reps, you're just moving for the sake of moving and you're going to 30, 40, 50 reps. It's hard to achieve actual failure. Same thing.
You're not even getting a pump at that point sometimes.
Correct. And same thing with if you do too few reps, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 reps. Sometimes you might have extra in you, but the weight's so heavy you can't overcome to get to that rep range. So the goal is to really find a good rep range for you that's going to be optimal for achieving full hypertrophy, full failure. So for me, that's always really been somewhere between the 8 and like 17 rep range has been like my sweet spot, maybe 8 and 15. So most of the sets that I do are going to be on the low end 8 and on the higher end 15. I think it's good to move the heavier weight. I think that creates density. So doing sets that you're going to have 7 or 8 reps in are good, but then doing the failure sets are really important too. So
you can cross those up too, where the 1 week you're doing these 5 exercises one way and these two another, and then the next week kind of switch it around
Yeah.
and probably build that overall.
Yeah,
Because you want that stamina too, obviously, that you're going to get from those more reps.
Yeah, there's a ton of different ways you do it, but yeah, you don't want to train all one way or all the other way. Usually having targeted exercises that help you achieve failure at 7 reps or 8 reps and failure at 15 or 20 reps are important at different stages in the game. For instance, out of the gate, you don't really necessarily want to do like our 100 rep set that we did with Henry. We kind of did do that out of the gate with him.
Right.
But right before we did a couple hard heavy sets, right? And then we finished with that failure set. Why? Because that was
Fun, because it was fun.
that was fun. Yeah. But if we would have started with 100 then asked him to bench 405, there's no chance.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah,
Right,
there's no
yeah.
chance he'd do it. So
All right, let's make this happen.
yeah, let's do. I want to put you.
Once
I
again,
think
guys,
we
if you
could
got
do just a
questions,
little bit more. I want to put
you
a
want
10
to
on there.
debate Nick on some of his
And we're gonna
advice,
get that
don't hesitate
for-
to jump it in there
An extra
and do so.
15.
That's this.
I want these to be real hard reps.
for everybody to learn.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, 15 each
Gotta
side.
get
Yep.
a fix on this. All right.
Ready? Let's go. 1. Stretch. Squeeze. Good. 3.
Let's see that pull he's getting.
4. Yeah. 5. Yeah,
Especially
you can
that
feel.
nice
Yeah,
you're
you can,
talking about. You can really.
yeah,
kind
you
of
can actually
that
feel the
torque,
muscle contract.
which is funny because I would always think that this is a bad motion, but ultimately when you're clinching down on that back,
Yeah,
you're
when you
not-
hammer it down. And look, there's some kids out there like you'll see on YouTube that are like doing like this.
yeah.
That's not necessary. But just to get that, the goal is to get that contraction, that extra flex on the at the apex of the rep.
Now you've talked about elbows quite often. So how do I know if I'm doing this right now and we're watching trying to do this? How do we know where he's getting too much wrist and too much bicep versus elbow? What's something for him to focus on?
So,
I'm sure you're gonna feel it a
A
little bit.
telltale sign is if you're using too much wrist, that your biceps will be sore, right? So you're gonna get out of this thing. You're like, man, my biceps hurt. Sometimes when you're going heavier weight, like a wrist wrap,
You're
will
gonna
help with
feel
that
it a little
too.
bit, right?
Yeah, you'll feel it a little bit, but if you always have sore biceps, a lot of times that means that you're not pulling with your elbows. So pull with your elbows, and you should be able to go longer with more weight and be able to achieve the failure in the lat, and not, you don't want to be failing from your biceps, you want to be failing from the lat.
Because the failure in the bicep is going to happen a lot faster, right? It's much smaller muscle.
All right, I'll pick this one up, do 12. Right side.
Oh, just
Yeah, right side. Yep. 1,
Oh, now
Good.
the fun begins.
2, good. 3, 4,
Hey, once again, if you're watching, not only can you ask questions,
5,
be part of the conversation, but
6,
if you want to participate, we're
7,
going to try to do this every Wednesday
8,
until it stops
Come on.
being fun, which is hopefully
9, good. 10, 11.
Oh yeah, it's
Yep.
feeling that burn now.
Same with this side. This is what we call a rest pause. So we're doing the same weight. He's dropping it. We did 15 on one arm, 15 the other arm, 12 one arm, 12 the next arm.
So we're not gonna. Oh, well, I guess you are getting that rest in between sets, and you're going one arm at a time.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit of rest between sets. We're sticking with the same weight. We're making it a little bit easier by going by doing less reps each time instead of dropping your weight. So it's kind of like a drop set in a way because you're dropping reps, not weight. All right, this one, pick up, do 10. 1, come on. 2, good.
Not gonna even have to do anything
3.
else.
All right, 4,
Wide back engaged right here.
5, 6, 7, 8, good. 9, fight to keep that good form. 10, good. All right, next one.
Awesome.
making sure that form.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
At the end of your sets like these, when you're hitting these failure sets, the form wants to start break down. You want to try to fight to keep that form.
So when you're
Don't just throw weight back to and then
Well, I was going to say, so when you get to that point where you're not perfect form, would you prefer an incomplete rep? So I go 3/4 way versus all the way?
correct. You pull as far back as you can go while
Before you start
maintaining
to
that
get-
form. Yeah, you might have a rep where you come back and this is all the farther you can pull. Normally you're back here, but this is it. That's fine. Keep going. 8 on that side. Ready? Go. 1,
Oh, yeah, there it is.
2. Yep. And then if you, there we go. 3, 4,
Come on. Come on.
5,
3 more.
6.
There you
Come
go.
7, 8. 1, 2. 1.
Watch that shoulder.
Form. 2. Good.
There you go.
8 on this side. 1, 2. Good. 3. Good. 4. Hold it. There we go. 5. Hold it at the apex. There you go. 6.
Fight
Good.
through it. Fight
One
through
more,
it. Hey,
one
for you guys just turning
7,
in,
8.
we're
1,
working on
2.
a wider back tonight. We've got our boy Trent here,
2.
who's kind of pushing
We'll
through
give
the
you a
end of
little
this set. And
That'll
reaching
burn 'em.
failure. So
I bet
nice
you got
job,
a
man.
lap pump now. How's it feel? Where are you feeling it at?
Right where it's supposed to be.
Low lat? Yeah. Little bicep or no?
Oh, a little bit.
A little bit? Okay. Yeah, that's normal. We just did what?
40 reps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to mention the practice reps before it.
Yeah,
So.
right? Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing is too. I mean, we're not doing an obscene amount of weight on here. You're not really risking too much hurting your low back. If anything, if your low back does start to engage, it's going to happen towards the end. But you're not putting over amount of stress on it by having 4 or 5 plates to where you're going to throw it out. You're going to throw a disc. You're going to have back pain tomorrow morning from doing this. But you're feeling it in the low lat, which is where our goal is.
And once again, guys, when you're watching this, if you've got questions, please ask. This is an opportunity to work with somebody who does this and trains every single day. Nick's one of the most researched guys I know. If you want to come on and debate them, we're happy to have you on. We're happy to have that conversation.
I love that.
Use the comments, use the questions, and get involved. Be a part of this. And once again, if you're just getting into lifting weights, if you're just getting into bodybuilding, a lot of research that Nick's done. As a trainer, as a coach, in order to get on pack, and obviously on his own journey as he looks for his pro card this year.
That's right. And not that I'm tooting my own horn here, but my back is like probably my moneymaker out of all my physique. Definitely, my judges' feedback has always been, you have an excellent back, you have a great back. So if there's one thing I know how to build, it's the back.
Yeah. Well, it helps lift the tires all day.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it comes from. I have to pick them up all the time and, swing that sledgehammer, all that. It's all back, man.
Yeah,
Tell you
absolutely.
What. All right. So for this one,
we're going heavy now.
Overhand. Do a feeler set. I want to shoot for like 8 to 10 here. So
You're doing dual?
yeah, overhand, elbows up. This is gonna be more mid-back focus.
Proud chest.
Too heavy? Okay, cool. All right. That's all right. Sometimes that happens. You throw a little bit of weight on there and you say, man, I'm really tired from that last exercise or whatever. It's not a powerlifting contest. So just do like 3 and tell me if you think you get 8 of them.
Hey,
You get 8? How many can you do?
Listen,
If you had to do,
if the sound's
if
coming
your life
through
depended
okay,
on it,
if
could
it's
you get
struggling,
10?
Let us know so that we can improve on that.
Be close. All right, then we'll go up let's try it. We'll do a quarter. I think we get a quarter. That's right. I know. We just did one exercise so far. So, and we just did really one set. I mean, we did a breast pause set, but all right. So we're going to shoot for 8 here, heavy. And what you do is stretch at the bottom, big squeeze at the top. Stretch at the bottom, big squeeze. Now, when you stretch, I want you to maintain that posture, so the camera can see.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We want that chest up. We don't want like a stretch where we're all the way out like this. We want to make sure that posture is good to pull back. 1, good. Hold 2.
Let's
3,
actually touch base
good.
on you something too, Nick. I saw something today where they were talking about rounded back lifts on the deadlift. And how it's actually
Good.
designed to improve and help your back get stronger. Come on.
Pull. Come on, 1, 2. 1, 7.
Good pull.
8. Good. That was a tough one. I actually do some stiff leg deadlifts with a rounded back at times. Now, that's not something I would recommend to anybody new or anything like that. But what I'll do sometimes is if you have, I'll demonstrate that next.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll show that.
But we're staying here, so yeah, don't go anywhere. Not this yet. Hold on. We're going down a little bit. All right, so we did a heavy set of 8. That 8 was gut wrench. We're gonna give you just a little bit more rest, maybe another 15 seconds or so. We're gonna pick it up, and we're gonna do 10 where you hold, right, and then the form should probably start to break down at a full range of motion. So we're gonna try to get to 15, but you might get partial reps at that point. So bring it back, hold. Bring it back, hold. So even if you're like only bringing back a quarter of the rep, I don't care. So yeah.
Now, are you focused on that negative on the way down, or are you just doing a free release? Or?
Yeah, you never ever want to just throw it down.
Right.
So we're going to control it on the way down. It's not like a
we're not going to do negative
5 or 10 second negative or anything like that. But we're going to control it on the way down, drive back up, hold. Control on the way down, drive back up, hold.
So does that have that same? Obviously when we talked about doing different types of workouts, he's doing it this way right now. But is there a time to add in those 4 or 5 second negatives?
Sure, you could do
a 3 or 4 second positive, and kind of bouncing them back and forth.
Yeah, there's the negatives are just a failure technique, right?
Okay.
And some people will do them a lot, some people won't do them at all. It's just if that's a failure technique in which your body responds to really well, then you should incorporate more. If if you respond better to a rest pause like what we just did, then you should incorporate that more. Or for me, I get a lot out of a lot of them, so I just like to switch it up.
Yeah.
And I think they're all beneficial in their own way. But like for the negative, that time under tension, constant squeezing, that really gets me to that failure point faster. So those help. I like those a lot for my exercises where I'm really focusing on technique and it's not as much intensity versus like maybe an exercise where I want like it's like a do or die exercise. A lot of times on leg day, I'll do a couple negative sets like that, but not a lot. I'd rather do a rest pause because it's more intensity. It's like how much pain can I take sitting in a leg press, and how much blood can I put in that muscle? Yeah. So they all have their purpose. You can pretty much use them for any muscle group at any time. But as long as you're using a failure technique, then that's what you want to do. So,
all right. Well, I just bought you an extra 35 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. Jump in there. 2, good. 3, elbows up. 4, good. More mid back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going. Keep going just like you are. 11.
Oh, he's powering through this. We gave him way too long.
We gave him too long a rest. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta get that
13.
blood flowing again.
Good. There we go. Now 14. Go ahead. 14. Pull. Hold. There you go. Back down.
Don't lean back.
There you go. Pull. Hold. Don't lean. There you go. Go ahead. Pull. Hold. Down. 3 more. Pull. Hold.
So this has actually become one of my favorite things lately. It's that last couple where you're just barely able to move it.
Pull. Hold. Down. Yeah. What I'm doing
when you walk away from this right now, like every aspect of your back, and I always talk about those ancillary muscles, really feel it because they're just holding that extra little time.
Yeah, and what I'm doing here, trying to prevent him from moving back, it's not necessarily moving back and forth, but to use the momentum. What you don't want to do is throw your back weight into it in order to pull it up. We want to make sure we're pulling from the top of the rep all the way to the bottom of the rep like that. So, how's that feel?
That was a great set.
Good. Back feeling smoked? Cool. All right. So that did a lot of mid back. We did lats for width. The only other real you could work those at different angles. So I would say like we could do a lat pull down, or you could do like a low row, so you could work the low angle, the high angle. Same concept for either one. You do a low row with your wrist up to get the lat. You could do a low row with a neutral grip to get a little bit of lat. You can do a low row, wide grip to get mid back. So just depends. Your grip will change on what part of the back you're intending to work, but each angle will grow it in a different way. So whenever I structure a back workout, I usually have a high, medium, and a low, and I like to have mix it up as far as open and closed wrist, which supinated or pronated wrist, depending on
Are you turning every time too when you're coming back, or it just depends?
It depends on which exercise. So if you're doing I did bent over rows yesterday, you can't turn, right? Your hands are like this the whole time, so it's fixed. For like if you're designing like a width one like here with our single arm rows, then I'm going to turn and I'm going to squeeze. So it just depends. Same thing with a lat pull down. If you're in a bar, overhand, that's going to do more mid back. If you go with a single hand and single hand and pull and twist, that's going to do more width. So figuring out which, what you're going to probably do 2 of each, and then 1 overhand, 1 underhand would be best. Then the other back exercise is like a low back. So deadlift, rack pull, reverse hyper. You had talked a little bit about the overarch in order to do to train your low back. So what my coach always tells me when I do these is to keep my chin tucked down, come down, and then squeeze up, and that'll focus more on hamstrings and glutes. So we'll do an overarch for that. It actually takes a lot of your back out of it, like your low back out of it, and it focuses on that overarch. So we could do that. I don't know if dumbbells or like we could use maybe one of these bars if you want.
Yeah, we can grab one of these bars in the free section or something.
Yeah,
we can
that
move
could work.
around.
Yeah, so we can show you how to do
you
that.
want to move off of this?
What's that? Yeah, we'll move off
Of this? All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. If you really want to see him fail, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you comment. The more we get, the more we can make Trent work.
We're just gonna start with 25 on this. This is gonna be
Are we gonna do a pull on this?
What's that?
We're gonna do a pull on this.
Yeah, like a deadlift.
Can we move those to the other side?
What we move it to this side? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move to the other side. That way I can change the angle.
We just do this.
Yeah.
Does that work? All right. So biggest thing here, we're just gonna be like a for the over exaggerated one, we're just gonna go chest down.
Hey, for you guys who are just joining, we are
Stretch.
how to get a wider back right now. Nick's
Back up.
So
That's gonna be more hamstring and glute when you do that. So I don't know if you want to include that in this one because it's more hamstring glute when you do that.
No, I wouldn't necessarily include that too much in this one. We could do pulls maybe or something like that.
We could do like a rack
that
pull.
wider back and not get too out of control. Because when it comes to hamstrings and glutes, we could really get kind of crazy.
Why don't we do like a normal rack pull then?
Okay.
So I can focus on that. That is more appropriate, I think. We'll just start with one plate is fine on a rack pull. The problem that we're gonna have here is this is gonna be too high.
What's that?
It's gonna be too high. So this is a little trick I'll do sometimes. When you take a 45, we're gonna stack 2 45s on top of each other. So big mistake I see a lot of people do on a rack pull is they're pulling it and it's coming down to here and coming up, right? That's not doing much. When you do a rack pull, you want to make sure it gets below your knees, right? So we want it to a point where
Here, why don't you pick that up?
Yeah.
There we go.
Wonder if we can, because that's going to be too high. Let's put one more plate on there.
45.
Yeah, one more 45. That should work.
God knows there's plenty of 45s around this place.
That's right. That's a good thing about
One
Craig.
thing that you don't have to worry about
He's
is
got all the weight.
trying to find a 45-pound plate.
All right. So
Hey guys, joining
There we go.
YouTube, see you popping
So
in.
bar's going to
Please
be
like the stream, comment.
just under the knees, which this is actually still pretty low, but that's all right. All right. So the rack pull is basically going to be the other end of a deadlift. So the top end of a deadlift. So you're coming up, engaging the low back, top part of the rep. You're going to push your chest forward and squeeze those lats together. Come down, back up. Control it on the way down, back up. Really give that a
Thanks
shot.
for joining. Make sure you guys are liking, following the stream, comment. If you want to see Trent puke, just tell us. We'll make it happen.
The Pendlay rows into the deadlift, those will make him puke for sure.
Pulling the power of the
hate.
stash.
Hate Pendlay rows. Yep. Down. Back up. Go ahead and wrap.
I did up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take no, this is a good stance here. I'd maybe duck your toes out just a little bit. And then when you come up, really squeeze those lats. Push your chest up. Drive those elbows back. There you go, like that. Come back down. Squeeze. Harder with the elbows. Squeeze. Yeah, chest forward, elbows back. Chest forward, elbows back. Keep that bar close to your body. Squeeze.
What are we focusing on here as far as getting that wider back? What's
Yeah,
what portion of that?
This is like you ever watch a bodybuilding show, if anybody's out there, a lot of times they'll have what's called the Christmas tree, right? Where like their low back, they pull it back like this, and there's a big Christmas tree in the middle of their back. And that's going to be from like this type of motion. So we're trying to train that Christmas tree, trying to get that upper part of that the mid back, and then all the way down like almost like a deadlift. So a deadlift, if you think of it conceptually, a deadlift, you're going to pick it up off the ground. You're driving with your glutes and hamstrings until you get to the knees. And then from the knees, it's hinge and back. So we're just doing the hinge and back movement. We're taking out the glute and hamstring part of it.
Gotcha.
So that's what these are designed for.
How you feeling so far, man?
How's that feel? The weight feel okay? It's feel heavy, light? This is one where like you don't necessarily need to do a lot of weight. I see guys sometimes come in here and do a rack pull and they're doing like 4 plates aside, shit like that. It's like, no, you don't really need that for what we're doing here.
It's tight.
Yeah. And that's how it should feel. It should feel tight, but not painful. You know what I mean? So like a big
It
pump.
actually, like, it's crazy, but it actually feels like it's correcting my standing as far as keeping my posture. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's tight.
Yeah. You want to keep that core tight a little bit more to favor that low back because it's worn out. So let's do another set. Let's get like 10 more. See how that feels. Toes underneath it a little bit farther. You want that bar as close to your shins as possible. There you go. Up, drive them elbows back. Squeeze. We're gonna pull right through here. Squeeze. Yeah, there we go. Squeeze. Squeeze.
Yeah, this is 100% one of those exercises where you're gonna walk around a little bit straighter afterwards.
Drive elbows. There you go.
Good.
Chest up. Drive the elbows. Yeah, hard. Hard. There we go. Drive. Control it on the way down. Drive. Good.
Hey, if you guys pop it in, please like, share the stream if you wouldn't mind. We appreciate the support here at the Warehouse.
How we feeling?
Medina.
Tight.
And,
that's what we want. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Nick here kind of trying to show some techniques on how to widen that back. So you guys are popping in. This is the time to ask questions if that's something that you want to focus on. And
we got any questions or anything yet?
No questions right now, but hopefully we start to pull some questions in. See a couple of people plugging in on YouTube. Please
that's right.
Like, share, but also comment, ask questions. It's time to get a bodybuilding coach and trainer that's available at no charge to ask questions. So
that's
take advantage of that.
The free Q&A right here. All right, go ahead. Let's get one more. Let me push this weight in a little bit here. I don't have any clamps now. All right.
Do you do a bar grip or do you do close grip?
I like it about shoulder width apart. Yeah, whatever's comfortable. It needs to be far enough away where you can really drive that chest up and that shoulder. So if you have big lats, you might have to go a little bit farther. But yeah, drive. Good. Pull, squeeze, chest up, shoulders back.
Pop it in. I see Ev. Let us know. Make sure the sound's good. The quality's coming through okay for you guys popping in on YouTube, Facebook. Please like, share, ask questions, engage. If there's something you want to see shown or taught here in the future, let us know. We're looking for things to kind of bring up in future episodes. But we're going to try to do this live every Wednesday night, give everybody an opportunity to get some extra training tips.
All right, we'll do one more set and we'll do it. We're going to do let's do a partial pen lay. So how much time we got?
I mean, we've got some time. That's all right.
A little bit of time. All right.
If we go over a little bit tonight, that won't hurt anybody.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do a partial pen lay, which is, we're just going to have the bar where it's at now. We're going to bend over. And all you're going to do is bring the bar from where it's at to your chest. Down. Like that. So let's get 2 or 3 sets of those. Drive. Wait a little bit heavy. We'll go down. That's all right. Go ahead and pick it up, rack it. Pick it up and then just walk it back. Just walk backwards. Perfect. Cool. Let's try 35. I think we get 35.
All right. So are we changing up the exercise or changing up the...
We're changing up the exercise. So we're going to do a partial pen lay. So a pen lay row is basically where the weight is on the ground and you're basically moving it down and pulling it up. So down, up, right? It's similar to a bend over row, except for you're touching the ground. So
So we need to move those 45s out of the way or no?
No, this is perfect.
So we're going to
That's
keep
what
them at
makes it
that
the
angle?
partial. That's what makes it the partial. He's not getting the full range of motion. He's just getting that top half of the rep.
Gotcha. And we want to pause in this too?
Yeah, pause completely at the bottom, drive up. These are a bitch.
Yeah.
They suck. Yeah.
Oh,
Good.
yeah, he's feeling it.
Yep. Come on, up again. Come on. Good.
Guys, like and share if you want to see Trent
2 more.
pass out
1,
or
2.
puke, whichever you prefer.
Good. All right. That's all right. All right, so this next one, we're gonna do the same thing, and then we're gonna do the rack pull out of it. So you're gonna do 10 partial pen lays, and then 10 rack pulls. So we'll give you a little rest. That's gonna be a lot. Make you sweat today. I used to have to do these as a full pen lay and then a deadlift on my plan, and they were the worst combination I've ever had. They were fucking brutal, dude. So I do these. I have my coach Morgan Rice. He had this on my plan as a couple of rotations ago, as a full deadlift, right? And then a full, you do pen lay rows like this, but from the floor, and then you do deadlifts into it, like so 10 and 10.
So it's almost like a superset.
It is a superset,
Yeah.
yeah. And so you do 10 pen lays and then 10 deadlifts, but you're doing it with like 315 pounds. So a 315 pound pen lay row is a lot.
Yeah.
And then you got to deadlift it after you're done. I puked every time. Literally every single time I did, I puked. There wasn't one time where I didn't puke. Some of it's just because you're doing this motion.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
motion
yeah,
a lot.
for
You
sure.
start to feel it in your gut a little bit, but yeah, it was rough. I won't go that hard on you today, but
How you
partial
feeling so
pen lay,
far?
partial rack pull is like the LT version, you know.
How's that back?
Oh, it's tight, right? Lower back,
Low back, tight, yep.
your butt.
Yep.
So one of the things I noticed when you start working out with guys like Nick or some of these other guys is 20 minutes into a workout feels different than the hour that you work
Yeah.
out by yourself.
Yeah.
Are you noticing that right
Oh,
now?
big time.
It's
Then you start to think like, damn, was I even working out or was I just going to the gym and walking around?
I used to have the same feeling, dude. I'd like train the whole time to try to get that feeling at the end, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I need to get warmed up. I do this, I do that, and I wasn't really training a true failure. That's because most people don't train a real failure, and unless you're comfortable doing it, you've been doing it a long time. It's hard to do it on your own. So that's where like a trainer or somebody, even a workout partner, somebody that you're going with every single day to push you will get you to that point and make you do those couple extra reps. But a good workout partner is going to make sure you have good form too.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, get the rep, you know.
Yeah, like let you hang there.
Yeah, he picked up the first one and it was pretty shitty form, but it wasn't because he didn't know how to do it. It was just because the weight was too heavy. So I'm not going to force him to do it with shitty form
Right.
for 10 reps, you know, because that's just going to get him hurt.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to be smart about it, but I'm going to push him within his limits.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I'm typically working out by myself, and even if I try to get myself to failure, that seed of doubt in my mind, like I don't want to drop this on my face or on my neck or whatever when I'm by myself, or I really don't want to drop the squat because then I'm going to have to unload all the weights to pick it back up and do the next set.
Yeah.
So like you can feel yourself fall a little bit short of that true failure.
Yeah.
Versus some of these machines, like we talked about in the row and stuff like that, is you can really go to failure by yourself even because you don't, but it's still not having somebody push and force those last couple of reps is a big difference.
Well, the rest pauses that we did over there are great for like people that are training on their own because it allows you to reach that failure point and then or close to it and then pause and then go again until you can't anymore and then pause and go again until you can't anymore. So you're inching closer to that failure point in which maybe you can't get in a single set, but you can get over the course of 3 or 4 rest pauses. So
I think also having that small amount of time in between too, I just felt like usually like, all right, that was heavy. You know what I mean? So you wait like a minute,
Yep.
2 minutes, and then you're like, oh,
Walk around. Yeah.
But this is like, crap, I gotta go again.
yeah.
And it's just
Exactly.
constant.
Yeah, you'll do like a set of 15, right? And then you can't get a 16th if your life depended on it. And then you rest for 5 seconds. You're like, okay, I can get 5 more, and that's it. Now, I get 5 more, and that's it. Like that's fine. Just keep doing that,
Yeah.
until you can't get a single rep, and then you've hit failure. So that's a good way to hit failure without a spotter. So
Yeah.
we should do a podcast on that.
That's a great idea.
That'd be a
That's
good
a great
one.
idea.
Failure without a spotter.
Hey, for
Yeah.
those that are watching, please like, share, comment. If you have questions, we're working on a wider back today, but if there's things in the future that you want to see, different types of exercises, if you're unsure on how to build certain muscle group, if there's a certain thing that you're trying to accomplish with your body and you got questions, Nick's a trainer. This is what he does, and he's absolutely ready to answer any questions, and we can focus on any of these things that you guys want to see in the upcoming episodes. So,
all right,
today's wider back. Let's get on that next set before you get too much time.
All right. Let's do pen lays into rack pulls. 1, good. 2, 3. Pull them elbows. 4, good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. 1, 2. 11, 12. All right. Rack pull. Just like you were doing it before.
What is it?
Rack pull. Just like you were doing it before. Right into it.
Now, what's the difference between overhand, underhand on this? Is overhand going to prevent you from using your biceps as much? It
will. Yep. Make sure. Drop. Squeeze. Good. Perfect form on these. Perfect form. 10. An underhand is going to use more lat. An overhand is going to use more mid back.
Okay.
Underhand will use more bicep because it's more natural to use your bicep.
Now, we talked about it before. Is this an exercise where you can do an alternating grip?
No. I would not do an alternating grip. The only time I do an alternating grip is if you're a power lifter and you're lifting a max and you're not allowed to use straps. Anybody that's just lifting for recreation, just use a wrist strap, and that'll be much better.
Really?
Yeah. Because it can be. I've torn a bicep.
I can see that back flaring out right now. He's definitely feeling
I
it.
feel.
Come back up.
Yeah. You can walk out of here with a walker. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Cool. Yeah, the pen lays and the rack pulls are pretty brutal. Those are fun. And that's a good one that builds some intensity and the grit in people too. A lot of people that I've had a few clients where I have to train them how to train hard, and this is an exercise I'll use for that. So they just don't understand the concept of this is uncomfortable, and I have to figure out a way with being comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Okay, this sucks for the next 30 seconds, but after the next 30 seconds to a minute, it'll be over with, and I can continue on my day. And once you realize that when you're training, your training becomes so much better. You know what I mean?
Mentality thing at that point,
Yeah. And for me, I've always been a competitor, and I like competing against myself when I'm here. So it's cool. How much pain can I take? How many can I do and maintain this form? And I got 8 last week. And I keep a logbook every week. So I got 8 last week. This week I'm going to get 9. And, I'm always trying to improve on what I'm doing. And maybe it's not always numbers. Maybe it's my form. I did 8 last week when my form was shitty. It broke down at the end of this rep. I usually take a little note, mark that next to my set, and say, okay, my form broke down at 7, but I got 10. Okay, cool. This week I'm gonna try to get all 10 with no form breakdown. Perfect. Cool. Then I know I can go up, or whatever. So, but it allows me to be competitive with myself. It allows me to it motivates me to sit in there and those sets and those hard sets and really hammer it out,
Yeah, and actually, when it comes to that, I use the Strong app because it's an awesome app where you
were talking about that.
You can log all your weights. You can log if it's a failure set and what you know what I mean? So
yeah,
real easy so that when you come in the next week, you know exactly what you did. It lets you know when you hit your PRs. And it does stupid little things like let you know how much weight you lifted for today.
Yeah.
So you're damn, I lifted 28,000 pounds worth of weight today.
Oh, really?
It's a good day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'll leave a link in the description.
It's like a step count, but for moving weight. That's cool. Yeah.
All right, ready?
Cool. Let's just get one more of these. Last set. We'll finish out strong.
You doing the half?
Pen lays into rack pulls again. Good. 2, 3. Good form. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes, I'll watch that yank.
8, 9, 10. Yep. Into the rack pull. Now we didn't completely touch on those. That's okay. Ideally, we'd have just a little bit higher stabilizers, but this is what we got for right now. And again, the reason why we want them, we're not using the bars here on the rack, is because the bars are only allowed to come down to his knees.
Gotcha.
And so we want it to be below the knee. Hard squeeze to the top. Squeeze that back. Come on. Squeeze. Good.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Look at that face.
Yeah. It's like one of those 1940s.
That's a warehouse warrior face right there.
One of those 1940s bodybuilders with the big mustache.
Yeah, like the New York gangs.
Yeah, yeah, like the Bronson dude. Yeah, yeah. How we feeling? Feeling good? Yeah, I think that's about all I got really. As far as, I mean, we could do some lat pull down and stuff in the other room, but for what we have back here, you know.
And we can focus on another
start.
night where we can do some different stuff with exercise. Let's take it back to the bench and kind of see what Trent has to say about his workout today. Last chance, guys, to add some questions if you've got any. Said, way to push through that one, bud.
That was a good one.
So not a whole lot of questions tonight, but let's kind of wrap it up and just talk about how you're feeling right now.
Definitely tired.
Yeah. Heart rate's probably up right now.
It's like, it's not a hit, like one of those hit classes, the high intensity training.
Yeah.
But like focused on just one body part pretty much. You know what I mean? Just the back, where it's just that constant go, go, go. Where usually when you just come into the gym, it's like, I'm gonna mosey away and do my curls or this or that. Take time, go to the bathroom, come back. This is like, you pack a punch, like out of breath.
Yeah.
So 2 things on that. Number one, a lot of times, like, and I'm guilty of this too, but we come in the gym and we do a set, then we talk to somebody, and then we go fill a water bottle, we do another set, and we don't maintain that, good timing and a good pace to our workout. So we're really not training as hard as we should be. And so when a lot of people are like, oh, I can't work out in 20 minutes, or I can't work out in an hour, I can't work out in half hour, whatever, that's because you're not keeping a good pace. I mean, we're at it for 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And we got a pretty good back pump, so, and just doing basically two machines or whatever, one machine, one free weight, and 3 different exercises. So that's important. And the other thing is with how it goes, like when you train hard like this and you really get a good pump and a really and fully exhaust the muscle, it takes a long time to recover. So like when you train like this, imagine if you did an hour back workout like this, right? Yeah. You're not going to touch back again for another week. You know what I mean? Because you need that much time to recover because you're going so much farther into failure. Whereas a lot of people are like, how I train back 2 times, 3 times a week, whatever. They're probably not trained to complete failure because if they were, then number one, then they're overtraining. They're probably not growing. They're not allowing their muscles a full amount of time to heal and grow back before they're breaking them down again. And then the other thing is, you physically, I mean, you'll be sore for 2 or 3 days if you do an hour and a half workout like this. So, well,
the other thing too is learning your body and how it responds to things. I did some training with Dahan over the last 4 weeks. I did my arms day with them, and we were trying to do old school way where like biceps in the morning, triceps at night, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And we could smoke my biceps to the point where the next day, like I didn't want to do anything with arms at all.
Yeah.
Move them. But I couldn't get that same out of my triceps. And it took 3 weeks of adjusting those workouts to where finally I was like, oh yeah, my inner tricep is killing me today. Like I got to that point because up until then I burned out, but the next day I felt like I was 100% back. So, it didn't quite have that same effect that I was hoping for. And then it took us a while to get used to, okay, this is what we need to use. Your triceps are really strong. So in order to really, we have to do something differently to kind of approach that.
Sometimes like exercise selection can help with that too. So like, let's just say on a tricep, like you really feel good connection with rope extension, right? Okay, well, let's start with rope extension. So we get that tricep firing. We build that mind muscle connection. And then when we go to something else, let's just say skull crushers you have a hard time with, your tricep's already primed and ready to go. It's been contracting. So it'd be easier to make that contraction after that. It's almost like a cold start on an engine. It's like basically when you do like train and exercise where you don't have good engagement right off the rip. It's hard to get that engine to start. It's hard to get that contraction in that muscle. But if you start with a nice easy one, like a rope pull down that you make a good contraction at, that's almost like choking it or using a primer, you'll really be able to get it going. So that way when you get into that movement that you struggle with, you'll be able to make that connection better. And then over time, you just be able to come in and make a connection with pretty much everything you train with.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how was the workout, man?
Good.
Awesome. Learn a couple of things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, obviously, guys, this is for you. It's a chance to get an inside look at the warehouse every week, but it's also a chance to kind of ask some questions if you're new to working out, and even if you're not new. Hopefully, you pick some things up during this that help kind of guide you in the next direction. Like, man, I need to train harder, or I could be doing this. Or if you've got questions and you want to try to do something, like I said, there's a certain muscle group you're trying to approach. If you're trying to build something, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. And if you just want to go through a quick 30-minute workout with Nick, typically that's something you got to pay for. So here's your opportunity to ask some questions, get a great workout in, and better yourself, and it doesn't cost you anything. And we appreciate the support for sure as we try to grow this channel and grow the support for it.
Yeah, that's been great. It's been really a pleasure. I really enjoy working with people of all different backgrounds. We had a kid last week that had never touched a weight in his life, you know, and we had Henry, who was a power lifter, and we had
Put him through a complete burnout,
complete different style training. I love Henry. He's great. He did great. So then we had what was the other kid?
Danny.
Danny, that's right, Danny. Yeah, Danny.
Minimal workout, active. Thought he was in. I think he thought he was ready for something, but
he wasn't ready. Yeah.
That's a big thing too, though. With a lot of people probably get intimidated. Like a lot of big dudes, a lot of women in here that are professional lifters. That's what they do. That's their job, right? So they get intimidated to come in. But the thing is, like, make that first step. Come in here. The warehouse is the perfect spot to do that. Number one, because this is probably one of the only gyms in all of his other gyms we're going to find professionals at this profession to help you and lead you in the right direction. It's just getting that mentality right and getting in your first step. So go get signed up.
Yeah, I think too, like to piggyback off that a little bit, we don't as bodybuilders and myself included, sometimes people think that we're like big scary people and like, oh man, we're gonna judge you or whatever. I don't even notice half the time what anybody's doing. And if I do see you do something wrong, I might politely come up and teach you how to do it the correct way. So
it's funny because you said big scary people, and people get intimidated by people that are in here and they're afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
But those are the same people, I feel like, if I try to point something out to them, that get the most offended and annoyed. It's like, whoa, bro, I'm just trying to be nice.
I just want to help you. Yeah. And dude, I love it. Dude, someone comes up to me like, hey man, what do you think for a good chest workout? I'm like, let me show you, dude. Come on.
You know what I mean? It's like you're the bodybuilder. You're more into like making sure other people are seeing you do it correctly. You know what I mean? It's like, somebody new comes in, it's like they could be doing something totally wrong. No one's going to care because they're new. Whereas, you're a bodybuilder, it's your profession. That's your job, your livelihood. It's like, okay, you have more of that mindset. Like, I can't mess up. I got to do it to perfection because other people, that's what's going to get other people to come and work with you.
Well, and when I was younger too, and growing up, I used to go to a gym in Akron. It's still open by the way. It's called Bodybuilders. It's a hole in the wall. Yeah, probably have to have a tetanus shot to train there. It's rusty and leaky and everything. I love it. Yeah, like old Dorian Yates style. But I would go there and there was big ass dudes there, and I would just watch them train. And I was a little skinny kid. I didn't know what I was doing, but I'd watch them do it, and I'd do whatever they were doing, And that's kind of how I first learned how to train. That, and then I had the Arnold Encyclopedia lifting that my dad had, and I'd read that, and I would do those exercises as they come. So, but yeah, I mean, having and I love me. Sometimes I'll go train at like Destination Dallas. I'll go out to the Powerhouse in Pittsburgh, or I've been to Bev's or Gold's out in Venice, and I'm the little guy there. And I love it. There's nothing I like more than going to a gym where everybody's bigger than me. And because I love watching these guys train. It motivates me. It gets me going. Makes me like want to train a little bit harder. I'm like, man, that guy's over there getting it. I need to get it. I can't be slacking today, So
the other thing too is, someone comes into this like, if you're looking for a new car, you go to a car dealership. They're the professionals. You need a roof. I'm your roof specialist, right?
Right there.
Save some cash.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Stash and save you some cash on the roof, siding gutters, whatever. But same thing when it comes to your health and your fitness, like me for a long time, I was like, man, I don't need a coach. I know how to do it. But the difference was hitting up Aaron it was like, okay, man, this is what's really going to get me to that next level because that's his profession. You know what I mean? That's what you do as a profession. It's like hire somebody. Yeah. In the long run, it might look like it's a bunch of money, but really, if you look at it it's going to help you in the long run in the future. Yeah, I already feel 100 times better just by going through the course.
Yeah. Aaron's a great bodybuilder, and I know he does a lot of things a lot like I do, where we're very science based and whatnot. So he actually trains up here too. So if you need a coach too, he's another great option other than just me. But yeah, they're great. It's great to have that type of guidance. And I'm the same way. I am a bodybuilder and I compete on a national level, but then I also have a coach that coaches me. You know what I mean? And
holds you accountable too, right?
Yeah, the way I look at it is Tom Brady, best quarterback in the world, had a quarterback coach, right? They teach him how to do it. So he was like, I don't need a quarterback coach. I'm Tom Brady. No, he still does it. All the top Olympians in bodybuilding, they all have coaches, all of them. So that's just, it's just hard to get to that point without having somebody to push you, because it's not only the knowledge that the coach has, but it's the accountability. Hey, I have to answer to my coach every week. I send him a check-in, and if I screw up, which I do sometimes, I have to explain it there, or he'll know. You know what I mean? A lot of times I don't have to say anything. He's like, "What did you eat this week? You weren't supposed to because you look like shit." You know what I mean? So, so he already knows. And vice versa. So,
and that goes down to your goals too. Not everybody has the goals of competing on a national stage or on a stage at all, right? But at the same point in time, you're going to the gym. You want to accomplish something. What is that? And a coach can help you do that regardless of what it is. A lot of people think they can't reach out to Nick because, he's always a bodybuilder. I don't want to look like that. Okay, well, what do you want to look like?
Yeah.
Have that discussion. You still need to be, you don't need to be, but it's still good to be held accountable. It's still good for somebody to train you, teach you how to do different things with your body. And then, like you said, those weekly check-ins are great. I'll be honest, like this week I ate like shit. My workouts were half-assed. I slept like crap. And I put on 8 pounds in just 4 days. Well, and it's like, God, I feel like shit. I look like shit.
Yeah. So now imagine you have a coach. You have to message him, email him pictures of what you look like shit. And then tell him all the stuff that you did wrong. You're going to not want to do that next week, right?
Right.
So
especially when you're paying for it.
Yeah, you're paying for it. You're going to keep you accountable. And it's not to be embarrassed. Like, as a coach, I coach about half my clients are bodybuilders and half my clients are lifestyle people. And everybody, myself included, we've all had weeks where it's like the truth week. Like, hey, I'm not, I didn't do what I was supposed to do all week long or whatever, these days or whatever. And lifestyle people have it, bodybuilding people have it, doesn't matter. But just having to answer for it and have that accountability will enable you it'll deter you from doing that again next week. And then you won't compound those weeks. It's okay to have a bad day or even a bad week, but you don't want to have a bad month, a bad year. You know what I mean?
And eventually you hope that you're always going to have something that happens where you might mess up, but the end goal is to make it a habit.
Well, and a lot of my check-ins too, not to get too deep into coaching, but a lot of my check-ins too aren't necessarily like accountability check-ins too. A lot of times, like I had a girl check in and she was having a hard time eating. Like she's having a hard time feeling hungry between meals. She's like, I'm full. I'm having a hard time getting my meals in. And so I sent her a bunch of tips on what to do to help your food digest. We added a little bit of pineapple in with their food to help. There's a enzyme in pineapple that helps break down meat in the small intestine. So we tried that. We put a little rice wine vinegar in there also to help break down food. We had some sauerkraut to her meals to help with digestion. I have her eat standing up. There's some studies to show if you eat standing up, that'll help push your food down through. We limit water before and after the meals in order to help promote digestion, promote that food going through there. So you won't drink 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, and you just sip water while you're eating to get your food down, but you're not chugging water.
Before you give away all your tips and
secrets. This is
but that's a great point because here's the thing. People say, oh, what am I paying a trainer for? What am I paying a coach for? I can go on YouTube. I can do this. Well, that's exactly it, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's different. And you're paying for the research that they're doing on how to work with your particular body or the way that you do certain things. You've talked about training somebody that had lupus before and it being a completely different approach to somebody else. Well, that coach is doing that research to make sure they're giving you the right information so that they can tailor your diet, tailor your workouts to maximize everything that based off of your body. So rather than you spending 25 hours a week watching YouTube videos and kind of listening for 30 seconds until you hear something you like and then moving on and then going to the next one, somebody's doing that for you and they're putting an entire plan together for you. So you're paying for what you get.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things a lot of benefits that come with coaching that people don't realize, but yeah, and then if you're not going to use a coach, definitely do your research and make sure and hold yourself accountable. It's just tough to do. It's hard to do on it. I know.
Before we wrap this up, a couple of things. You mentioned Matthews Motors. Go to the website, buy some merch, get some entries, get a free lift kit, right?
Yep, ends next Thursday.
Awesome. So make sure you take advantage of that. And then what do people call you for? How do they save some cash with that stash?
So my number, 419-632-0381. Starts off with an inspection, whether you need a new roof or don't. I always like to do 2 inspections on people's homes, usually spring and fall. You know what I mean? Want to help them make sure their roof's going to last in the heat in the summer. And then also make sure, like Elements right now, where this year we've had a really tough winter so far. People are like, oh man, it's crazy. Well, we haven't had a winter like this in a long time.
It's been a while.
So what do you get? A lot of ice dams on roofs. You know what I mean? Gutters have icicles all over them from not proper ice and water shield underneath of it. Again, code upgrades. It all starts with an inspection. You might not have damage enough for an insurance claim. You know what I mean? That's what a retail quote's for. I'd be more than happy. And if I can't get to it,
I'm connected with a crap ton of roofers all over Ohio. We have a good networking base there too. So if I can't help you, I know a ton of people who can.
Awesome. And do you guys do anything else other than roofs and gutters?
Roofing, siding, gutters with Shingle Monkey. Matthew Motors is any automotive, specialized lift kits, rims and tires, custom stuff. And then Recoup Home Solutions, we do bath remodels, decking, and things like that.
Awesome. So it sounds like a good connect to have. He's right here in Medina. Once again, thanks to the warehouse for letting us film here. And with that, good night, everybody.
All right. Adios, guys.
Yeah! Yeah! In the warehouse gym, we break the mold. We lift iron weights like they're made of gold. Nick and Will on the podcast vibe, talking about routines, yeah, feeling so alive. Sweat drips down as the bass line hits. Warehouse echo with the power of grit.